Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to Breakfast Daily. Yeah. Wherever you happen to be watching us from, be it Facebook, be it any of the 16 regions of Ghana, be it the rest of Africa or anywhere else in the world, you're welcome to Breakfast Daily. My name is David Kwekusechi.
And I'm Apioko Sarah Mashong Abe. And do stay interactive with us. Send us all your messages, all your comments, all your birthday wishes using the hashtag Breakfast Daily or the WhatsApp line.
Yes, 0550-585-8832. If you happen to be outside Ghana, kindly prefix that with +233.
Now, it's going to be a packed morning. And for the first 30 minutes of the show, I'm really excited because there's a legend going to be joining us here.
Absolutely.
Does the name Diana Akiwumi ring a bell?
Oh, yes. Yes,
now,
yes,
Mrs.
yes,
Diana
yes.
Hobson.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, former
absolutely.
musical president. I mean, multiple awards. There you go. Yeah, exactly. Diana Hobson. Yeah, so she's turning 50 years old, and there's a lot that she's doing to celebrate herself and the work that she's done in the space of music. And so she'll be joining us shortly.
Fantastic,
so I look forward to that.
Fantastic.
And of course, we've got our news review ahead. We've got Philip Ashon will be joining us for the consumer tech segment. Yesterday, there was the Apple event. And you know when Philip hears anything Apple, he's going crazy. Yes. So he'll be letting us know what's happening in that space as well.
I shouldn't hesitate
I'm not an Apple person,
I'm going to say
so don't even go there.
Be
careful.
The pace.
Which pace?
Yeah, the pace.
We will get into that conversation later. And then, of course, hello, Mr. President.
Yes, definitely.
People have sent us their problems from their communities, and we will be delving into some of the issues that people are going through and speaking to some of the authorities who are in charge, and, of course, calling them to book as to why they're not making the citizens of Ghana comfortable. Yeah. So all that and more to come here.
Absolutely. Every day we start a show off with a quote. So let's just look at the quote for today, and we'll continue the conversation. So the quote of the day today comes from Les Brown, and Les Brown says, "Too many of us are not living our dreams because we are living our fears. Too many of us are not living our dreams because we are living our fears." So I think it's really, you have to choose, you have to decide. It's either you're living your fears or you're living your dreams.
Absolutely.
You know, so I mean, for me, I think this just says, drop the fears.
Why do you have fears at all?
Drop the fears.
You know, fear comes from a place of uncertainty.
Yes.
And the truth is, really, the next second is uncertain. The next minute is uncertain.
That's true.
And you can't predict it. I mean, nobody is God. Nobody is an oracle sitting somewhere. Unless you have some superpowers, you really don't know what is happening. So why be scared? Just take it, but prepare yourself. Preparation, I think, is key. You know, if you're not prepared, that's where the fear comes from. So, but yes, if you want to live your dreams, and especially your wildest dreams, you can't be scared.
Yeah,
you just can't be.
Absolutely, absolutely. No, I mean, I think that at every point in time, we should be just mindful of the fact that we have a new day, and once the dawn cracks, you know, there's an opportunity, and it's just a sign to tell us that let's start afresh. All the things that we didn't get done yesterday, it's an opportunity to get those things done. All right, so this is going to be a fantastic day. I have a very good positive vibe about today. Today particularly.
You're sounding very deep.
Yeah. Today's going to be good.
Mr. Idris Elba of Ghana.
Excuse me, hello. So you know, Voter's Diary, one of those shows that I think is pretty much groundbreaking, you know, because I don't think I've ever seen anything like it before, where we literally take the country piece by piece and explain what has happened in the last few years,
our political history, the socio-economic bearings of that history.
Everything, you know, just break it down piece by piece by piece for our viewers to understand and appreciate. I mean, I think it's just a fantastic show, and so
it's phenomenal.
You should not miss it. All right, 1 p.m. every day, Monday to Friday on radio, and then
with Abna Nyameche and Pedu.
Yes, fantastic.
And then on TV
host.
at 3 p.m. Monday to Friday with her local ship, Vivian Kai Local.
Vivian Kai Local, absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And then Best Brain is back on your screens.
Yes, it is.
It is. So, you know, last year we ran season 1 of Best Brain, and it was amazing. And again, groundbreaking, because it wasn't just a quiz competition.
No, it wasn't.
And again, hosted by Philip. It seems like Philip is just on our radar today. Hosted by Philip Ashon, the quiz master.
Yeah.
And what the show does is get JHS students to compete. And it's not just based on science or the arts. You have to be an all-round student to be able to sail through. And the thinking behind that was that in the 21st century universe, not even just Ghana, in the universe, you need to have knowledge skills that cut across different areas if you're going to be competitive on the global market. And so we're just encouraging our young people to get into that headspace. And they were doing experiments, they were going into slums and just looking at social issues and doing very amazing. So it's back on your screens Tuesdays and then Saturdays as well. Yes.
And then of course, tomorrow is Thursday, which means the voting for Keyboard Idol ends at 5 p.m. tomorrow. You can't afford to miss it. So Keyboard Idol is on, and you have to vote. You can't afford not to vote for your favorite contestant.
And I'll say it again, I don't want to see anybody come on Saturday and say, oh, Citi TV, you people evicted my favorite contestant. Meanwhile, you haven't voted. Please vote. And there's a magic number.
It's *447 *973 hash.
And vote as many times as you want to. Please go there and vote. Very important. Very, very important. And then, I mean, we have many other shows, so do stay tuned to Citi TV. Throughout the week, there are so many different things happening, and you need to make sure that you stay tuned in to Citi TV. Don't miss out. And of course, you can catch all our shows, everything that's happening on the station on CityTube. It's there for you. So you have no excuse to miss anything we're doing.
Well, we made a promise.
Yes, we did.
And she's here.
Our promise is here in the flesh.
The promise is here. All right. So Dinah Hobson, Mrs. Dinah Hobson is here with us. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes,
Auntie Dinah.
It's good to see you.
Doesn't like it when I call her Auntie Dinah. It's good to see you.
Yeah.
How have you been?
Has been amazing, wonderful, challenging, disappointing appointments, joy, sadness, gladness, all mixed together. And it builds up a great experience and the joy of living. I'm really excited to be on planet Earth at this time of the decade.
Wow.
I mean, that's, you said, in that just one sentence, less than a minute long, you've spoken about joys, you've spoken about the highs, the lows, and I see smiles on your face. A lot of people are not very optimistic about the different stages that they go through in life. Can you shed a little bit of light on how you have journeyed through it all?
Okay, so my first decade obviously has been my childhood days. I grew up in North Kaneshie, and as the last born, you know, moderate family, you know. But at 15, I got born again, and everything changed. I was not happy that I was an African. It's like, I was not, and I kept asking questions. It's like everything is hard here. That's the notion that it's difficult to do things here. Oh, Abrochedi, everything is fine, and everybody,
nice,
you know, things we see on TV.
Is it that that's what you were experiencing? Were you experiencing hardships yourself, or that's what the environment was telling you?
That's what the environment was telling me, and then also, of course, the heat and everything. Sometimes I remember I had to wait for 1 more year because my hand would not reach my ear to go to school, and it was, and all those kind of things. And I also was not happy that I was a girl, a woman.
Oh, wow.
Yes, as young as 15, it was like, the man gets all the favors, like, so I was not happy. But when I got born again, I now accepted who I I am, because I realized that God made the whole world and he made things different. There are varieties, and Africa is another continent, another continent. Yeah, continent, a geographical location. And it's the same God who is here, who is the same God of the people over there. And that he has given us all opportunity and resources that you just have to make good use of what you are. I realized that, no, I'm a model diner. There's no model like me. So how do I want this model to be?
You're a very conscious 15-year-old.
They told me I ask questions, and if what you say is not right, I'll tell you. I don't believe it and stuff like that. So that school took me to Winneba Secondary School. And there I was singing, acting, dancing, all over. I was in Assemblies of God Church, and so I got married very early. And it was because, I mean, the Bible schools for Assemblies of God, at that time, women were not admitted. It was only men. And so I got married to this young,
was there
energetic.
a reason for that?
You know, women had various issues and stuff like that. When people do not understand our make, they take us wrongly, because every month our mental cycle times makes us different. And then after, our emotions and stuff like that sometimes can take the best of us. And so sometimes men think we are a bit too, but look, we are amazing characters if you get to know us. And we make the life tick. I mean, without us, I'm happy God made us.
I have to agree with that. I have to agree with that.
So as early as 22, 23 was when I made the big hit. My first album was in 91. And that was, He arose from the dead. He is Lord, He is Lord. Every knee shall bow down, and every tongue shall confess that our Lord Jesus Christ, He is Lord.
And that was a huge hit.
So that was what, 91?
That was in 91.
But that song,
that was massive.
It was on a high throughout the 90s.
Well, we thank God. Even today, people still like it. And I get amused when I hear the Jama boys saying, And then in 93 came the Almighty Winner. With Onyame Odomfo.
I remember that song.
Wayade Kasi Amada Saman Ade Kasia and none say what Yesu Adomien Uamaye Nyankwa Eni Onyame Odomfo Mese wa babedum ye Ame Nyame Oyodomfo Ao Onyame Yesu Yodomfo Yesu Yodomfo Domfa Me Nyame Oyodomfo. That same album had Winner. And that year they
so that was
a big album then.
Yes.
So what was the name of this album?
This was Yeyu Aida,
so this was
but it became known as Winner. And that was what took me to the height of my career. At that time, Mary Gansa, Stella Dugan, Tego Sisters, Esther Nyamiche, they had all released. But this young little one came with some vibrancy, jumping here and there.
So how did you feel? 23, very young, and this is 1993 Ghana.
Yes.
Even now, as a 23-year-old woman, I mean, of course, there's a lot more liberation in that sense, female liberation. But how did you feel? And people knew your name, people knew your music, they knew your voice. What was that feeling like for you?
It was exciting, and for once, for instance, my mother could say, can look at you and believe that there's some God, because she had no idea where this little girl was going to. And my father was also very happy that he stood behind us. I believe my friends and my teachers knew that I could get this far. Honestly, I was told confidentially that one person is like, oh no, Diana can do better than sing.
Oh wow.
One of my teachers said, it was like, oh no, I could do better, I mean, than just sing.
And how did you deal with such criticism?
Well, so my life transcended. In 2007, I became the musical president.
That's right.
And so then the policies for the industry and advocating for unionism, copyright. In fact, I went back, I've been studying a lot. I've done copyright, I've done counseling, I've done music therapy. I mean, and so I believe that I'm called into the arts. And so the arts has been my passion and my area. And I believe that if we have good policies and the people in the profession know their trade, know the dynamics of it, we can build a good economy for the nation.
I have a question. The winning the presidency for Musica is one thing. What was the experience like at the beginning when you, I think probably the first lady, to be the president of Musica, and you're there? It's still quite a patriarchal Ghana in which we find ourselves. How was that?
Honestly, there were a lot of skeptics. It was like, what can you do? I mean, you are not a businesswoman in the first place. And so how are you going to fund the whole thing and stuff like that? But I had learned how to write proposals and stuff like that. So we spread a lot. And I was happy with my, let's say, my opponents. There were strong, experienced musicians who also wanted the position. And so there were a lot of people trying to find the loopholes, but that rather gave me the encouragement to see what to solve and how to make it work. So I got funding to build a very first, in quotes, rehearsal studio for musicians, because I realized that apart from the church that people could go freely to rehearse, there was none that people could pay and rehearse and have good shows, buy studio time and rehearse and have better concerts. And I'm thankful to God that today, when you attend Ghanaian musical shows, you can see the difference. Now we have a lot of studios around. I also saw the need, the gap between the academia and the professional musicians.
It's always been an issue.
With Professor Nketia Emeritus, that man, amazing. At least we did some seminars and workshops to see how we could bridge that gap. And of course, whilst I was president, I linked with some of the embassies, and when their artists come, we collaborate and do workshops. So of course the men were watching, but they realized that I was not coming to fight them. I was just coming to build. So at the end of the day, people like Bessa Simons, Obo and others, they all warmed up to me. And I was also in between, not too old and not too young. So I was able to bring them together. We still have a long way to go, but I believe that those 4 years were good. And you know, before I took over, I had seen the insult and the fight. I've seen how Alaji had to battle with a lot of court cases and stuff. You know, our area, we are very opinionated people. And so that
because
artists,
when it comes to art, each of us is a queen and a king in his or her own right. So we can do no wrong. And we can be a little arrogant.
But God has been faithful. I'm still in the industry. I'm the second vice chair for GAMRO. And at this time, with all the digitization and everything going on, I've started a publishing company, and we are working hard to meet the international standards in terms of publishing.
So how is that going? Because a lot of new forms of publishing, digital publishing is the order of the day. Even putting your work up on social media now is a form of publishing. How are you dealing with that?
Okay, so you can tell that for our industry, after the colonial days, when now the recording industry, you had just few business people coming in, investing as if it's like, excuse me to say, box of tomatoes that you have to sell and get your money. So when digitization started, most of the stalwarts who had hitherto invested in turned to other businesses. So then we really lacked that piece of executive producers and publishers. The work of publishers is actually to really register the work very well with all the details, whoever has a right, you know, and the year and everything, and then get the international codes like the IPI numbers and stuff like that.
So that artists can just create.
Yes, you create, put it out there, and anywhere the song pops up, it traces back to the right owners. And after the music survey, I realized that piece of our industry was missing. So then I stepped in with this company, and God has been faithful. We have sub-publishers almost in all the world, and we are seeing how we can meet up. Gumroad was a bit slow, but I thank God that now it has, the missing link has been brought in. And I'm looking at the next 3-4 years, we having our rights very well.
Okay. So, I mean, I want us to get more into the conversation, go back to the conversation about your life and where we're at now, because I know 50 years, Golden Jubilee, it's no mean feat. It's no mean feat if you're an individual, if you're a company, and I've seen the list of things you have planned.
That's right.
It's a whole institution.
I tell you.
But before that, we have some of your videos.
Oh, you
and
do?
Yes, we'll like to watch them. Okay. I think there's one with a Chami Kwame. Maybe we'll look at that one.
Single parenting in the challenges and the CHE and so if you are alive there is hope. The second chance dear wadum Sabramu yadina wadum nedimi kind Sanya wadum yanka bayada cry. Oh, your grace and mercy has brought me this far into Sana Beach Naha.
Oh, wow. Exciting.
Wow.
So this was in...
This was in 2016. Okay. That was after, you know, the last album I did was Ghana at 50.
Okay.
And it was a happy birthday album.
Okay. Yeah.
And then I became his president, so I got busy, then I got married, everything. So in 2016, I decided that, look, I have to still make time. I mean, I woke up to realize that, no, if you say you wait till everything has stopped, then you start doing something, you never. So as the song comes, I just go to the studio and start recording. So 2016, I announced a big comeback, started touring, then I got admission for my master's.
Oh, okay,
So I stopped, put it on hold. In fact, this video you saw was made by my son, biological. He attended NAFTI.
Oh, I see.
And, so it's a family of artists.
It's
in
the blood.
No, but it's a beautiful video.
Yeah, so I just decided to start recording again.
Okay.
So from 2016, I did this single, then continued 2017. In fact, by December, I made 2 Christmas carols and then continue releasing singles.
Okay.
So at 50, I realized that I have enough for an album. So I released an EP that has 5 tracks.
Okay.
I have 3 more, 3 new more that I've added, and that's a full album. It will be launched on the 27th of this month.
Okay.
That's next week, Sunday.
That's right. In fact, I've outlined 12 music industry seminars.
Okay.
So on Thursday, we'll have the first one. It's both Zoom and virtual.
Okay.
And I believe that we need to know more, especially since the digitization is quite new. We need to make sure that people know more about copyright, publishing and stuff, so that our musicians can do better.
So that they can make money.
You see, so on the 27th at the Megland Hotel in Adenta, we have the launching, and it's going to be digital. So I've linked up with Aftown, and you can actually pre-order your song, your album.
But that's a big deal.
Yeah.
Aftown, for those of you who don't know, Aftown in the music spaces, and that's international business. Well done.
So we have a digital. It's ready now. You can pre-order on Aftown. It's an app. Just Google Diana Hobson on Aftown Music, and you can pre-order but on the launching day it is 15 Ghana, and it's all digital. So if you are trying, you are wondering how you can have digital come for the launch, go online, pre-order, and you can have it all for yourself.
Okay, so that's the 27th.
And it's not just it's not just a concert. We're doing a competition.
Okay.
Actually, we have over 60 people who have signed to present some of the songs on the album, and most of the people I collaborated with will also be present. I had Eugene Zuta on a track, and on another track I have Reverend Neil Kai, Pastor Helen Yosin, even the LIC choir in Union. Yeah,
they have the biggest names.
So that's 27th.
Okay.
But then next month, that's October.
Yeah.
We wrote my biography.
Okay.
I had Daniela Buga started working on that 3 years ago. And so it will be
so we have the
launched in
flyer on
October.
the screen.
That's right. 20th, that is Sunday.
This coming
Sunday. It's Women in Worship. Musical concert.
We have that on the screen right now.
And all the legends, Mary Gansa, Stella Dugan, Esther Nyamiche, Helena Rabos.
Okay. I was going to ask you about Helena Rabos. I haven't heard her name in a while.
So on the 20th, come to UPSA, you see all of them at 4.
Nice.
We'll be there in a wonderful concert. So in October is the autobiography launch. And then November, we have a mixed folio and album launch. So the publishing company, GH Music Publishing, will bring out its first sheet music. You know, most music students will not get Ghanaian songs to even practice with.
Yes.
So we've produced the first one, and we'll release it in November.
Are there plans to teach young Ghanaian musicians how to score as well? Or at least write lead sheets?
Yeah, that's why we're doing these sheets. As part of the policies we advocated for music to have its continuous reign, because at a point there were lots of gaps. I mean, you can do it to this level and stuff like that. So yes, it's to give them resource so they can learn. And then in December we're going to have a Christmas pageant. 24th of December. So it's like a carols night, but there will be no reading of scripture. The reading will be acted out. So it's going to be a music theater. In January we'll have Epiphany. It's a feast. In February, Dr. Hobson will lead us in a wonderful Valentine's.
So for those of you who didn't know, Dr. Hobson of Farm Life on 97.3 Citi FM fame, he's been on Breakfast Daily several times. He is the able husband of Diana Hobson. Yes, and he's been a backbone.
I tell you, I mean, if you heard the Asida song, there's a line I said, my second chance, I mean, life without kill me was a whole bundle of a different experience. And I still thank God for his life. May his soul rest in peace. Because though he was a broken body, he still fulfilled his purpose on earth, despite his shortcomings and limitations. And after that life was over, there were days that I thought that was the end of my life, because we had 7-nation tour, in Europe and stuff like that. I was on big platforms. He was my manager, but life and its issues, and I had to still live with it. And I thank God that I survived. And today, at his own time, after 10 years of being a single parent, he blesses me with marriage again, and it's still wonderful. I would tell people not to give up. If someone listening and your heart is broken, and it's true, the person has hurt you so much, you are feeling the pain, please look up to me and know that it will be better. I have been there. It will be better. The person is alive, and yet you have to mourn and let the person go from your life. You think about the days you've shared, and you just don't want to that terrible dream to go on. Please don't give up, because life, if you are alive, there is hope. It's only the dead who can do nothing. And so it goes on. February, the Valentine. In March, we'll do a Ghana special concert, a concert specially for Ghanaian music. And then in April, we'll also have another Easter celebration where we'll put up the crucifixion in a theatrical way. And then, February, March, April, May, we will have another mixed folio launch. And then we'll have GH Music Artist on Parade. We'll crown it in July with Women in Creative Arts Honors.
Oh, fantastic.
That was the last event I did as musical president. I realized that the women in the creative arts space needed some kind of awards to boost their morale. And I looked out for those who are the elderly ones. Yes. And since that time, we've not done it again. So I want to do it so that we can have some more young ones also.
That's brilliant.
You know.
Thank you. Thank you, Auntie Dinah. Thank you for coming. Happy birthday. Happy 50th.
Thank you.
We're so proud of you. Always celebrate you. And we need to bring you back on our relationship segment one of these days, because you have a lot of nuggets that I think we need to share. Thank you.
And I want to thank Citi TV for collaborating with me on this 50th. There's a lot of activities, and I'm happy that you brought me here to share with everyone what the Lord has done.
Thank you.
Thank you, Auntie Dinah. Thank you.
Well, we've been speaking with Dinah Hobson, who is celebrating her 50th anniversary on Earth, and for the fantastic rollout of various events and activities. Well, News Review is up next. My name is David Kwekusechi.
I'm Appioko Sarah Abe. Do stay tuned. We'll be right back.
There is no promise we cannot keep. There is no commitment we cannot honor. There is no delivery we cannot guarantee. There is only one, Bethel Logistics Company Limited, a licensed international freight forwarding and clearing agent, a trusted global brand with an extensive network for the movement of air freight and ocean freight worldwide. We are the trusted name for road freight into Western and Northern Africa. We are fully accredited by Ghana Customs and Excise. We cater for all your freight forwarding, customs clearing and forwarding, cross trades, inland transportation, internal cargo tracking systems, customer freight costing and consultancy, cold chain logistics management, logistics and warehousing, quality inspection, and much more. In Accra, Tema, and Takrady, we are always available to ensure easy movement of cargo countrywide. Call us on 0204 528 900 or 0244 707 859. Email info@bethellogistics.com. Locate us in Accra at North Ridge, adjacent Accra Girls High School, or in Tema at Community 4, or in Takrady on the second floor of the GCB building. Website bethellogistics.com. Bethlog, experts in shipping logistics.
Welcome back. You're still watching Breakfast Daily on Citi TV. My name is Appioko Sarah Abe, and it's time for our news review segment. Very interesting conversations to come. But let's look at the headlines. I'll start with the daily graphic. And today, on the front page, handover to civilian government. ECOWAS leaders urge Mali junta. And there was, of course, a high-powered ECOWAS meeting yesterday. It was an emergency meeting at Peduasi. And, I mean, those conversations have come up. You can find more about what happened on citynewsroom.com as well. And then parties express mixed views over filing fees. Rightly so, filing fees are still in the news. Mrs. Ursula Wusu ECOFUL says telcos reduce communication service tax, and that has been ongoing. You recall that when the budget review was read, the CST was reduced, and so telcos are working on that. And then government pays all depositors cash, no more bonds, and we'll be talking more about that as the morning progresses. Okay, so we'll take the Chronicle. Stop exposing your boobs in court. Bar president advises female lawyers. Heal the cycle of bitterness in Ghana. My God, Mahama to end corruption. And Ebokwansa writes down on page 14 of the Chronicle. Malian coup makers given ultimatum to quit. And that's another version of what we saw in the daily graphic. Korean embassy writes to Tuna Association to ensure safety of its nationals. And again, in the Chronicle, you can find that. The Ghanaian Times. At extraordinary ECOWAS summit, hand over power to civilian government now. ECOWAS orders Malian military junta. And again, we've seen that in our other papers. It's on page 12 of the Ghanaian Times. You can read it. Gory accident at Chichire, 14 perished, 35 injured in road crash. And that's on page 3 of the Ghanaian Times. On page 11 of the Ghanaian Times, 5 political parties, independent candidates, CSOs decry EC's filing fee. And the NPP Deputy General Secretary says it's okay. And of course, you'll be hearing about the filing fees in the news for a while. It's the season. Again, on page 11 of the Ghanaian Times, at NDC Town Hall meeting, I'll restore all seeds mining concessions to small-scale miners, says John Mahama, the flag bearer of the NDC. And then we'll move on to the custodian. Akufo-Addo promotes Mali's return to democracy. That story is on page 3 of the Custodian. You can find it there. Baumia commissions $56.7 million to liquid bulk terminal at Takoradi Port. And this is on page 2 of the Custodian. 14 perished in Chechere accident. We saw that in the Custodian, in the Chronicle. You can find the Custodian as well on page 2. And more agony for Men's Gold customers. That's on page 3. And we can read that there too. Let's go to our Citi Newsroom online stories. Okay. PPP will abolish BC if voted into power. And that's coming in from Bridget Jogbenuku, who is the newly announced flag bearer of the PPP. Akufo-Addo engaging in Sakawa sword cuttings for votes, says Mahama. MPP implementing policies in our manifesto, again says Mahama. More smaller parties kick against the EC's filing fee increment. Again, filing fees in the news. Customers of defunct microfinance firms, SNLs, to receive full cash payment from September 16, which is today, of course. And we'll take the citibusinessnews.com. Citi stability backed by Ghana's diverse export base. Other factors from The Economist. S&P ratings will not affect investor confidence, says Professor Korte. Customers of defunct microfinance firms, SNLs, to receive full cash payment from September 16, and again, that begins today. We'll be talking about that. And 3.56 billion Ghana Citi cash released to settle remaining customers of collapsed microfinance firms and others. Standard & Poor's low credit ratings unfortunate, says the Finance Ministry. We'll go to myjoyonline.com. Government's recent sword cutting ceremonies are Sakawa, says Mahama. That's the headline coming in from myjoyonline.com. And for more news, visit the citinewsroom.com. And of course, you can find all our news there. And then for more business news, citibusinessnews.com as well. Okay. So we're back in the studio. And today, I have 2 lovely ladies with me as my guests. I have Dr. Benedicta Yaira Fosu-Mensah. She's here with me. She's a lecturer at the University of Ghana, Legon, my alma mater. And then she's also a member of the NDC National Communications Team. And then I also have Laurata Musa Saka. She's a member of the MPP National Communications Team. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
How are we doing?
Good.
You're welcome. Very well, thank you. It's good to have you.
Good.
Okay. So I won't even waste any time. I'll let us get started. Let's start with the banking sector cleanup. So we've read that 3.56 billion Ghana cedis has been released to settle the remaining customers of collapsed microfinance firms and others. And I'll open that so that we can just read the story a little and understand what's going on. So the government has released 3.56 billion Ghana cedis in cash to fully settle depositor claims of 347 defunct microfinance companies, 23 savings and loans firms, and finance houses that were being settled with bonds initially. The money will be ready for the depositors from Wednesday, September 16, 2020, which is today, according to a statement from the receiver of these defunct firms. Notice is hereby given that with effect from Wednesday, 16 September 2020, affected depositors may contact any branch of Consolidated Bank Ghana Limited, CBG, the paying bank, to access their newly created cash accounts, which were originally designated as commercial paper bond accounts at the bank. And this is a statement from the receiver. 6.07 billion Ghana cedis had already been released to some depositors of these resolved companies in cash and bonds, and this had left 402 million Ghana cedis to be paid to the remaining depositors. Of the 6.49 billion Ghana cedis required to fully settle all valid depositor claims, about 3.56 billion Ghana cedis of these claims were initially settled with government-backed bonds. But there were concerns about this method. The non-interest-bearing nature of the bond and the tenor of 5 years does not make the bond commercially attractive, thus creating a significant loss in value of their claims to them. Sensitive to these concerns, and in order to provide additional liquidity to the financial sector, government has made available to the receiver or the official liquidator additional cash amounting to approximately 3.5 billion Ghana cedis, the statement said. Thus, the depositors who are to be paid in the bond will now receive cash payments at no discount for the commercial paper they have either received or is due to them. On May 31, 2019, 347 microfinance companies had their licenses revoked by the Bank of Ghana as part of the financial sector cleanup. The Bank of Ghana on August 16, 2019 also revoked the licenses of 23 insolvent savings and loans companies and finance houses. These actions were in line with the Section 123, Clause 1 of the Banks and Specialized Deposit Taking Institutions Act 2016, Act 930, which requires the Bank of Ghana, BOG, to revoke the license of a bank or specialized deposit-taking institution where the Bank of Ghana determines that the institution is insolvent. And there's a full statement here. Maybe we'll get into that a little later, but I want us to start this conversation. And I want to, initially when this whole issue began, we were told that we were going to have bonds, and then you have your initial payments, and then you could do deductions of up to 5% every month. What has changed, Lara?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning to your viewers, and good morning to Doc. This is my first time of meeting with you. But what do I need to add again? The fundamental thing was His Excellency the President, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, at every opportunity when this issue came up, said every depositor was going to get what was due them.
Okay.
And that's where we are now. We can decide to go back to how this whole issue started and come, but we'll still get to the point where depositors are getting their full deposits, if I should put it that way.
So this is the principle,
and this is
of course.
Good news, because that's the fundamental thing. That was what His Excellency the President said. That was what he promised all those people. It was a difficult situation. There was no way out because we couldn't have decided to throw money at the problem like the previous administration did. For how long would we have been throwing money at it? Because this is a country where some years back we had an issue with R5 and Peram. Mm-hmm. I believe you remember that.
Of course.
So when such issues come, you don't sit down and treat it as if it's something you don't understand. You don't throw money at it and people use the money for their own personal gains. And we have innocent citizens suffering. The good news is they are getting their money, and I think we should.
So what's the timeline looking like? We're starting today. Today is the 16th. At what point do we expect to have finished paying all the depositors?
Well, at the end of the day, most of these people have been verified. We are not going to go with that whimsical idea of just walk in and take money. Because when these people were depositing their money, it was a process.
Right.
They went through documentation. So you don't say, come and take your money. Anybody can just walk in and take money. How do you verify?
Absolutely.
Right? So some of them have been verified, especially those who had already been issued the bonds have already been verified.
How many of them have been verified so far? Do we have those figures?
Well, as before the statement, about 98% of them have been paid, and 55% of that was in bonds.
Okay.
Right. So now that all of them are going to get their money in cash, hopefully by end of year, as was promised, we should be able to get all these people sorted out, because every citizen deserves their due. Definitely. And that is what is being done.
Definitely. Dr. Fosu-Mensah, what do you have to say to this issue?
Okay. Thank you. Good morning once
again. Good morning.
And good morning to our cherished viewers. Good morning to the people of Central Town, where I come from. Like you asked, what has changed? I remember very well that this government at a point said they have paid 96% of depositors their money. Few days after that, we heard people say that no, they haven't received anything. And I'm just wondering why suddenly we have this huge amount of money saying they are going to pay all depositors. I must say that His Excellency, our former President, John Dramani Mahama, and the NDC, our manifesto launch have kind of changed the course of things in this country. And it looks like NDC is in opposition, but we are directing the affairs of policy as far as concerned. I believe this current administration have made this U-turn and are promising depositors that they are going to pay all their deposits to them because of our manifesto, because NDC promised to pay all depositors their money when we are giving the mandates come 7th December. I must say that I use this opportunity to send my condolences to people who have lost their life as a result of looking like they have lost their lifetime savings, and also to say sorry to all those who have developed health condition, hypertension, as a result of the condition we found ourselves. I know people have worked several years, some as long as 40 years, and they've saved their pension money in these savings and loans and these banks just for them to wake up one day and say that you have lost all your investment. But I might say that for me, this is something that this current administration shouldn't think we should clap for them. So they have the money to pay all those people all this while, and yet they sat down, people suffered, people had hospital bills to pay, they could not get that money, they died as a result of that, people develop health condition, and yet at the 11th hour, here we are, they're saying that, oh, we are paying all depositors their money. They had the money to do that.
Dr.
Why have they waited?
I mean, I'll let Lara to rebut that at some point, but I don't think it's fair to say that they had the money sitting there all this while, because we know that there's been a process to get to this point. So let's be careful on how we position it.
They had their money. Why did they say that they were giving their bonds? Then all of a sudden, they said
is there evidence to prove
them
that the money was sitting there?
Where are they getting the money now?
I'll ask Lara to that question.
Then they have to tell us where they are getting the money now. Because if now they are saying they are paying the money, it means the money was somewhere. Why suddenly, how did they get the money and they are not paying? When people have cried, people have lost their life, there are people who, you know, very little ailments that could be treated have died because they didn't get money. People have developed hypertension because of this financial sector cleanup. Now, all of a sudden, after NTC launched its manifesto, we promising the good people of Ghana that when we come, God willing, 7th December, we are going to pay all depositors. Then the government comes and says, we have found money. Come and take your money. Where are they getting, or where did they get the money all of a sudden? Just within 1 week or less, when NTC launched its manifesto, I think they have to come out and tell Ghanaians. And I think that they have not been fair to those people, because they had the money, they know where they could find the money, and all those while they did nothing about it, and people have lost their life. Those lives, we cannot bring them back. People have developed conditions that cannot be, you know, reversed because of this condition. And I think that the people of Ghana or these people who have found themselves need an apology from the government for letting them suffer all this
Okay,
while.
Lara too.
This is very interesting for a government that went to IMF for policy credibility is saying they are directing policy in opposition as against the government led by Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo that took us from IMF and is growing the economy. Let's go to we apologizing to customers. I think by now, the NDC should be moving around this country, apologizing to all DKM customers. In 2015, when they were in power, DKM customers wailed, begged for their monies to be paid to them. What did we hear the former president say? He had become a dead goat. He couldn't hear what people were saying. DKM customers, are we talking about people who died? Are we talking about people who developed conditions? It's a difficult situation. This is a decision people took to invest their monies. You left them in the cold in 2016, and these people have been paid by this current government, and you are asking who should be apologizing? Who should be apologizing to these people?
So
these innocent citizens today who can have a smile on their faces because a president who believes in leadership and service is making sure they get their due. And we are talking about apologizing. I think the NDC should be on an apology tour to make sure all these people
So Loretta, Dr. Fosu-Mensah has asked a question. She wants to know where the money is coming from, and I believe our viewers would benefit from that information as well.
An official receiver was appointed, and through these financial institutions had investments that were liquidated. Government has other sources of funding that you, at the end of the day, resources that come to government are supposed to use to make the lives of Ghanaian citizens better. So if those sources of income, right, that the NDC hitherto were using for things that had no bearing, especially we are using part of the annual budget funding amount, the ABFA, to fund free SHS. They used it to pay bus branding. So these are some of the things. So NDC should be the last person talking about people who say they are going to inherit an economy that is in tatters, are asking where money is coming from. They have no idea of how to sustain an economy. So they shouldn't be the ones asking these questions. The fundamental thing is government, since this issue happened, has gone through the process, appointed an official receiver, appointed an official liquidator. They've gone through the sources. They've liquidated some of the assets. Government has brought in resources. Ordinary Ghanaians are getting their due. And that is what we should be talking about.
Okay, fair enough. Dr. Fosu-Mensah, has your question been answered?
For now, we've had instances where this government have promised and they have not delivered. So until we see these customers getting all their money as they have promised, we'll just leave it like that because we've had a lot of promises, and sometimes it's like they just scratch the surface of the promise and leave it there.
Okay, so we have a message here from Bunti Benjamin in Achimeboakwa. He says, had it not been the able Akufo-Addo's government, customers of all these collapsed firms under the incompetent Mahama, and I dissociate myself and my station from this description of the former president, would have been gnashing their teeth like the Piram issue in those days. Fellow Ghanaians, let's give our caring and able governments 4 more years to transform our lives and consolidate our economic gains. Someone's comment. Now, so you're okay for now, you're saying, with the explanation?
I am not okay, my sister. The fact is, this government says they have solutions to all our problems in this country. They knew that there was some money somewhere they could get all this while. For almost I'll say 3.5 years or 3 years, 9 months now they've been in government. And this problem started at their first year and nothing has been done about it. Then all of a sudden, NDC launches its People's Manifesto. Then we see this government turning around saying they are paying all customers. And starting from today, everybody was going to get his or her money. If they knew the money was there, or there was a way they could find the money, why did they wait all this while? At the first place, why couldn't they use that money to save people's jobs, to save people's life? Because people have lost their livelihood. There are people, as I said, who have died because of this crisis. They could have saved the crisis, yet they decided to virtually put people in that kind of fear because they felt they had lost all their investment. Then suddenly you make a U-turn. We have seen this current government. I remember very well the Okada Association, for example, wrote a petition when they said they were not going to legalize Okada. And here is a case, People's Manifesto was launched by NDC. Then all of a sudden, NPP comes out to say that they are doing consultation to legalize Okada.
Okay, so your position is that...
So it's like NDC or our manifesto is now directing policy, or it's now more like a policy direction for the current administration. I think that, well, it's good news because NDC in opposition and we are now in control over the affairs of the country. And I think that it's a plus and it's an endorsement to our coming back to power December 7th.
Okay, Dr. Fosu-Mensah, earlier Laratu mentioned DKM customers. Have the DKM customers been paid?
I remember very well NPP made that promise that they were going to pay all customers their money. So they should be answering that question if they have done that.
I have an article here. It's on citinewsroom.com. DKM customers will be paid by end of September, Ekufuado. And this was published on the 13th of September 2020, which was on Sunday. And so the story reads, President Ekufuado has promised to pay all customers of DKM Diamond Microfinance in full by the end of September 2020. Speaking at a gathering of chiefs and people of Wenchi in the Bono region as part of his presidential tour, the president stated that everyone who was owed money by the microfinance company will receive payment. By the end of September, everyone who was owed by DKM will be given their money, he said. President Ekufuado added that the payments were not going to be done in installments, but rather all creditors would be paid in full. We're going to make sure that the balances are paid in full. We're not paying in percentages like Mahama's government, he assured. And the background, of course, in 2015, some microfinance companies in the Brong-Ahafo region found themselves in a mess following accusations that they squandered the deposits of their customers. The central bank in 2015 suspended the operations of DKM for violating the Banking Act. Through the central bank the central bank subsequently lifted the ban on the company's operations, DKM was unable to pay its customers their locked up cash. And according to the then President John Mahama and his finance minister Seth Terkper, DKM Microfinance had spent about 77 million Ghana cedis of their clients' monies. President Ekufuado in his campaign towards the 2016 elections assured the clients of these companies that he would retrieve their locked-up monies for them when he's voted into power. The Bank of Ghana confiscated the assets of the company and appointed the Registrar General's Department to commence liquidation processes to refund customers of the company. So who wants to comment on this?
74,000, to add to that, 74,000 validated customers of defunct DKM Microfinance have been fully paid by the receiver. And the receiver is Madam Jemima Owari. Your station can check. Look, there were 90,353 claims. Out of that, 1,393 were rejected. You know, you have to go through the validation process. And 88,962 were validated. Out of that, 74,000 have been paid. Who is being truthful to Ghanaians? The one who left them didn't have a solution, didn't have a clue about how they are going to get their monies back, or the one who has gone through the sustainable process of making sure, one, these investors, these depositors never suffer this fate again, or the one who left them hanging, had no clue about how to solve this situation and was just throwing money at the problem. How long were they going to throw money at the problem? The money that they even threw at the problem, how strong did they build the systems in BOG? Today, at least, this cleanup has strengthened our monitoring processes. Probably is the next NDC government probably that will take us to. But if we are going to have Ghanaians have the confidence they have in Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo and whoever comes after him to keep this nation, I don't think we'll be going into this problem. But if we have a government that over how many years, over 20 years since we gained independence, keeps drawing us back anytime they come into power, then we have an issue. Okay. But you see, you don't sit down and act all righteous when you were the one who left the problem and it is being solved.
Okay, we have to go on a break now, Dr. Fosu. So when we come back, I'll take your comments on this. We're going for a quick break. We'll be right back. You're still watching Breakfast Daily on Citi TV. Stay in touch with us with the hashtag Breakfast Daily. And of course, our WhatsApp line is open for you as well. We'll be right back.
Close-up deep action with antibacterial mouthwash formula and deep cleaning gel. Close-up deep action. Enjoy long-lasting fresh breath.
Welcome back. You're still watching Breakfast Daily on Citi TV, and we are on the news review segment. And we have some messages coming in. Our WhatsApp line is 0550-585-832. If you're texting us from beyond the borders of Ghana, remember to add the country code +233. And of course, on social media, use the hashtag Breakfast Daily. There are a few messages here. Good morning to you all. Please, we, those in the Upper West region who did savings in GN Bank, have not been paid, and we're not hearing anything. Please, Citi TV, help us find out when we'll be paid. We are suffering, please. And this is Na from Wa. So this is Upper West region, okay? Good morning. Now, it's obvious that the People's Manifesto has forced Akufo-Addo to cough 3.5 billion cedis. If JDM would have hinted he will pay all those locked up funds, Akufo-Addo wouldn't have coughed. And this is from Daniel Dakwa and Abetifi Kwewu. Kwame Abuaji from Cape Coast. Nana Addo has done it again. The remaining customers who lost their money to defunct banks are now going to receive all their money thanks to the listening Nana Addo government. Nana Addo, your good work is visible in every sector of the economy. You deserve a second term for Ghana. And from Dr. Abedi Kwadaso in Nedro number 1. Thank God President Akufo-Addo's government has released 3.56 billion Ghana cedis in cash to fully settle depositor claims of 347 defunct microfinance companies, 23 savings and loans firms and finance houses that were being settled with bonds. But a vote for former President Mahama and his NDC will reverse our fortunes. That's your opinion. And he says hi to Chairman Akoko of Baumia Fan Club and Dr. Klingsley Nyako coming in from the incoming MP for Kwadaso. So there are lots of messages here. I'll read one more. Good morning, hostess. So if I understand, the MPP communicator is saying that what the previous administration did is what has been repeated by collapsing the various microfinance banks. Okay. So maybe we can respond to some of those messages in a bit. But before we went on the break, Dr. Fosu Mensah, Larato responded to the DKM issue. I read an article that said that it was published on the 13th of September, which was this past Sunday, that said that by the end of the month, by the end of this September 2020, the president has promised to pay all DKM customers who have lost their money or have seemingly lost their money. Any comments on that?
Yeah, well, once again, I want to say that why now? Why waited until just about 3.5 months to an election? He had all the years, 3 years, 9 months to have done that, but he didn't. Well, I know that viewers are watching what is happening in the country. It looks like NDC is in charge, though NPP and for that matter, this current administration are in power. Look at even the COVID-19 era. You realize that most of the recommendations or most of the things that were implemented were recommendations from NDC. The issue of free water was a recommendation that our flag bearer, His Excellency John Dramani, of cutting down on electricity for customers was a recommendation by His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. And again, we are saying that most of the things that NPP is, trying to do now is virtually NDC manifesto. The issue of legalization of Okada, the issue of putting on hold importation of salvage cars, the issue of putting on hold the university bill. So you can see that it looks like there is a driver in a vehicle and somebody is sitting right behind the driver. But the person who is sitting right behind the driver is virtually the one holding the steer and turning as to whether to move to the left or to the right. So I think that the people of Ghana is just right to say that, well, since you are in the driver's seat and it's somebody behind you who has to hold the steer, then you should just get out from the driver's seat and allow the person who is behind you to sit in the driver's seat and drive this nation to a safe destination. Okay, so I want us to move on to our next topic, but Lara, just to clarify and make everything clear for everyone who is watching us, the payments of the funds will begin today, and by the end of the year we should be through. So people can expect their money once they have gone through the validation process. Okay, is the validation process still open?
I'll need to check on that.
Okay,
but I think they've done most of it. And the difference is most of these people who are going to get the rest of their money are those who were issued the bonds. So don't let, and that was what most people were complaining about. It's because they had been paid in a way, but they didn't get the cash. But talking about who solves problems and all that, look, as we sit here, I've lost people in my region, in Savannah region, and other northern areas because of the spillage. Floods there, people are dying, innocent people are dying. Now, there's a project to construct a Paolugu multi-purpose dam. This could have been done when the NDC came to power with the 250 million the Brazilian government were doing. But these are people who don't prioritize the same people, the ordinary Ghanaians who they've benefited from for over 20 years, especially those of us from up north. The NDC has benefited from us more than any other government. But look at it, in 2020, we are still struggling and losing children because of spillage.
We have to move on. Maybe we'll have that conversation on another day, but we have to move on to our next topic. So, no secrets, we're in election year. And I have a story here on citinewsroom.com, which was published yesterday, the 15th of September, debating Mahama not part of our campaign strategy. This is coming in from the NPP, the story says. Former President John Dramani Mahama might just have to forego his plans of having a one-on-one debate with the flag bearer of the New Patriotic Party, NPP, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, ahead of the 2020 general elections. This is because the NPP has served another notice that it will not honor Mr. Mahama's request. Ahead of the 2020 polls, the Akufo-Addo administration has centered its campaign on the issue of infrastructure after it announced that it has initiated 17,334 infrastructure projects in various parts of the country. Mr. Mahama suggested that this is hypocritical of the Akufo-Addo administration and that only a debate will settle the scores. On the Point of View show on Citi TV, however, national organizer of the NPP, Samir Ewuku, pointed out that the party is yet to be fully convinced why the debate is necessary. He, John Mahama, has his campaign plan and strategy, and we have our campaign and strategy. We've also brought forth our discussions, which is leadership of service, protecting our progress, and transforming Ghana for all. Unless what we have stated are not the fact, but if we are to take Mr. Mahama's words and say, let's go for the debate, we know what they want to do. They want to set their own questions and try to answer themselves. Unless someone convinces me that the only way for us to have a proper discourse is when the debate, say for 90 minutes and then it is over, happens. But let me say that so far we haven't been convinced why there should be a debate, he said. Mahama indecisive. This is not the first time the NPP has served notice it will not be pressured to allow President Akufo-Addo to participate in any debate with the Mr. Mahama group on infrastructural achievements. Deputy Campaign Manager for the NPP, Mustafa Abdul Hamid, said Mr. Mahama has no more right to throw a challenge for a debate, given some comments he made about such debates in the past. That challenge is unnecessary. Taking it or not is unnecessary. First, this challenge by Mahama clearly shows what we have told the Ghanaian people, that he's a person who has no principle and stance on anything. He's a flip-flop, he's wishy-washy, and indecisive. In 2012, he said clearly to the people of this country that debate about records is a recipe for mediocrity. So what has changed? That he wants to debate on infrastructure records, that he wants us to descend into the mediocrity that he's in. We're not ready for his mediocrity. He's indecisive and wishy-washy. We're not interested in any debate. It is not necessary, he said on Eyewitness News on Thursday. Mr. Abdul Hamid believes Ghanaians are already awarding their marks on the achievements of the NPP in comparison with that of the NDC. Hence, any debate to set the record straight in a theoretical debate, he calls it, will make no significant change. For me, as far as I'm concerned, I do not think theoretical debates are necessary. People feel what we do in their everyday lives, and they are in a better position to make their judgments on December 7, with or without debate, he added. Loratu.
Yes.
I'll start with you.
Yes.
Is there a reason why your team wouldn't like to debate Mr. Mahama?
Who wants to get into an exercise of mediocrity? Who wants to? The NDC, led by Mr. Mahama, left Ghana under IMF when public sector jobs recruitment was frozen. Right. We took the economy, and we exited IMF. The NDC put us through Dumso for over 4 years. Today, hitherto, TV stations and radio stations couldn't even run 24 hours. Today, you have stable power. There are sustained jobs, even in the midst of COVID, right? We promised free SHS. NDC said it wasn't possible. At a point, they even said it was 419. Today, we've seen the results in various homes. It's touched every home in the 16 regions across the country, right? That is something they said was impossible. Today, they are flip-flopping. They talked about infrastructure. We have put up a delivery tracker for every citizen who wants to know what we've done to go and track it there and verify. Even with that, we had some MMDCs talking about their projects, MPs talking about their projects not being captured. So the number keeps open. It's real-time validation that every citizen in this country can go and do. We promised one district, one factory. It's ongoing. 232 of them across the country. Out of that 232, 58 are owned by youth groups. 5 are owned by farmer associations. one ambulance, one constituency, or one constituency, one ambulance. We brought in 360 ambulances. Doc here mentioned her constituency. I believe as a Southton, they have their ambulance. Something the NDC couldn't do or even dream of doing. We are talking about warehousing. We are talking about planting for food and jobs. We've created over 2 million jobs in the private sector now. So what are we going to debate the NDC on?
There are some people who are arguing that a debate would be beneficial for the electorates, for the voters, for people who don't necessarily understand the language in the manifesto, even though we've heard both MPP and NDC's manifestos. What do you have to say
to that? You see,
to
when you talk about not understanding the manifestos, we made ours clear. We said leadership of service, protecting our progress, and transforming Ghana for all. We didn't say people's manifesto that had no, and we all know when we say people, the ordinary citizen. How many ordinary citizens were on the People's Manifesto Committee? And you know, when people say they don't understand what the manifesto says, probably, in all humility, it's the NDC's manifesto. Because on the day that they were launching it, the chairman of the committee for the manifesto said, the philosophy behind the manifesto, he didn't have time to explain the manifesto. Ours is fundamentally protecting our progress and transforming Ghana for all. And that's what we're doing. If it's infrastructure, any government, and to paraphrase the words of Mr. Mahama, every government does infrastructure. What is one single policy that the NDC can tell us? Or they want to come back and go to IMF for policy credibility? Is that what they want to come back to go and do? They want to come back and cancel free SHS? They want to come back and go and cancel nurses allowance, teachers allowance? They want to come back and further do away with the scheme that teachers had that gave them the option to supply cars to their, again. Or is it the patient's charter they promised that is already on the Ghana Health Service website? Or is the reduction in medicines that we've already instituted framework contracting and it has reduced the cost of medicines by 30%? So what are we going to debate the NDC on?
Okay. Dr. Fosu-Mensah, your manifesto has been dubbed the People's Manifesto. Why do you want to debate government or President Nana Addo on the issues that are on the ground?
Yeah, like I think there are a few things I need to educate my sister on. Talking about the People's Manifesto being a committee. The idea, when we're soliciting for ideas, what the good people of Ghana need. I will not say that was a committee. We went to people. What would you want the next NDC administration to do for you? So we had discussion with different sectors, different group of people, and then the ideas were generated. I remember very well, when this issue came up, there were issues, the MPP said, NDC didn't have a message. We lack ideas, so we are now going out there to get ideas. And we realized that all of a sudden, when we kind of uncovered or launched our manifesto, we are more or less taking ideas from our manifesto and then implementing. Apart from that, I would just want to set the record straight when it comes to issue of dam, building of dam. I remember very well, His Excellency Dr. Baumia said that they were going to build a dam to make sure that when there is a spill of the Bagri Dam, this water will be collected and then used for irrigation during dry season. Where is the dam they've constructed? Now, when it comes to the issue of debate, you know, it's so clear. It's like inviting somebody for a fight, you know. and then the person is telling you that, no, I don't think I want to fight you, I don't have time for you, it's a clear sign that, look, the person do not have the strength to match you. When it comes to infrastructure, it's so, I don't know, it's so shocking when MPP keep asking that they came and Dumsor has ceased. How many megabytes have they added? What infrastructure have they built as far as the energy sector is concerned? It's so amazing when these issues come up that they have stopped Dumsor. Somebody have invested, you have just come and you are benefiting. All of a sudden, you say that, oh, because I came, I have stopped Dumsor. What have you added? When it comes to infrastructure, I don't think MPP can match their records with our record. And that is a clear sign. That is why they are refusing to debate the issue. When it comes to infrastructure, I mean, this issue of our infrastructure is, I mean, in a software, a tracker system, you can track. We have seen some of the infrastructure, and as we said, some of them, in fact, a rural assemblyman shouldn't even call it an achievement. A one-seater toilet, a polytank on a platform as an achievement. I mean, a 1 kilometer road, we call this achievement. Filling of potholes are all listed as achievement. Come on, when you're talking about achievement, your records are not near that of NDC. The records are there. Go to Rich Hospital. Go to Terminal 3. When it comes to West African region, Ghana or our airport is recorded as one of the best airports in West Africa. Go to University of Ghana Medical Center. To the extent that when the minister went there, he forgot he was in a hospital. He said he was relaxing, as if he was in a hotel. That is the kind of achievement we are talking about. Go to Dodowa District Hospital. Go to Kejetia, the market that is built there. Go to Kraba Market. These are achievements. We're not talking about 1 kilometer road as an achievement, a one-seater toilet. Even when it comes to the education sector, they are not matchable. This issue of free SHS, it has become like a trump card. When we are talking about achievements, that is always their trump card. Oh, we have given everybody free SHS. We have given Ghanaians free SHS. How much money, as far as free SHS is concerned, how much money was spent there? How much money was made available to the NPP government? These are things we should look out for. The time NDC was in government, for example, in the oil sector, we had only one oil drilling port. Now they have been able to build 2 additional ones. You have 3. And look at the amount of oil that is being drilled. All this money is made available to you. So when you are looking at records, let's also look at the amount of money available to the current government as against the money available to NDC when we were in power. But when it comes to record, of course, I know that they are just refusing to accept, but Ghanaians can see the amount of infrastructure that NDC have built within the 4 years. The records are there, not one-seater toilet, not polytank, not 1 kilometer or filling
so
of
Dr.
potholes.
Fusimens, are you maintain that the debate should happen?
The debate should happen. That should, I mean, it's like you want to have a fight and somebody is kind of running away from you. It shows that the person do not have the strength.
And it's sad that for a party that has benefited from the ordinary Ghanaian in Savannah, in northern region, in northeast, in upper east, upper west, Volta, central region, the poorest regions in this country, will sit down and poo-poo the basic needs of these people. These are people who said they went to the ordinary Ghanaian to put together their manifesto. You go into a community and sometimes all they need is a place of convenience. And such a thing is provided for them and you poo-poo it as a social democratic party, a party that says you are for the people, and you sit down here and talk about airports when people's farmlands are being washed away because you decided to divert the money from the Brazilian government for the Poalugu multi-purpose dam. Are we serious? NDC, you are talking about Terminal 3. When my relatives in Pa are complaining about 5 kilometer road, when you go and build E-block for them so they can enjoy free research, you go and build it in the bush. Is this what the People's Manifesto is about? You poo-poo the basic needs of people, a one-seater toilet for a community that just needs a place of convenience. Poly tank for a community that needs portable water to drink, you poo-poo it. No wonder cholera was a big deal during your administration, because the basics were alien to you. And these are the people who have been voting for you for over 20 years, and their basics are not necessary, are not things that we should be proud of. Ghanaians should think about it.
Okay, I want us to move on to the last topic, but before that, we have some messages here. Please, Madam MPP Communicator, mention at least 2 factories established in northern Ghana and in which particular city or district. We have not seen one. Upper West people felt we have been, or feel we have been neglected. And this is from Abu in Tumu. And then why is the MPP afraid of debating the former presidents if they think they perform better than the NDC? They have nothing to show. I'm even surprised your panelist on the MPP side is talking about the Sakawa delivery tracker today. Desmond in Yamuasi. Where are the number of factories MPP is talking about? They should show them for Ghanaians to see. In fact, the MPP panel member is throwing dust into people's eyes. She has no facts. Tells us MPP themselves are not on grounds. Please, they should come to the grounds to see how disgusting those proposed sites are. Please, please, we are tired of the 44 cities of my validated claim instead of 5,500, but I've not received any message as to whether they are to pay the bond or not. And Pa Joe of Big Joe Shoes near Kwada So Onion Market says, I can't think far. JDM says government is cutting swords but no contractors on site. Has former President Mahama forgotten he cut swords for phase 2 of whole airport project on 2nd December 2016, even 5 days to election? I was sword cutting. He must learn to speak the truth since the alternative is empty. Hi to Mami Soja of Kwada, so Dr. Herbal Mixture. Charlie, your shout-outs there, one in town. And then good morning, panel. I want to find out, when the president said microfinance companies, including DKM, does it cover the likes of Diamond Winners and E. Makpa & Co.? Because it was DKM, Igmakpa, and Diamond Winners that ran away with people's money in 2015. Anyway, how do we access our money, please? We need to know. And this is Ahmed from WA. So Ahmed, I did read a story that said the president said by the end of September, DKM customers would be paid. Larato has clarified that between now and the end of the year, others would be paid. But Larato, maybe you want to take this one. People are asking how do they access their money. They need to know. It appears some
they have to go to a CBG.
Okay, so you go to CBG,
branch, the
right.
Consolidated Bank of Ghana.
So please.
But let me just make an intervention for the 1D1F for my brother who is sending the message from the north. Upper East, Tivona Limited is in the Bolgatanga municipality. Processing of dawa, dried pepper and baobab, 100% Ghanaian owned, partially operating. When we go to northern region, there's LK International Limited, Motoken, Lamashegu, Tamale.
Okay, so Larato, just to clarify.
Assembling, distribution, and maintenance of motorbikes.
The person who has sent the message wants to know whether there's one that the government has built, not a partnership, but one that the government has built.
You see, this whole one, and that's the problem with the NDC. They don't listen, they don't read, and even when they read, they don't understand. We've explained time without number.
I can't verify that this view.
Well, I'm telling you that for a fact. Take it from me, and Doc here knows that. It's a program to industrialize the nation. You don't.
I think
there'll be projects that will be started from the scratch.
Madam Host, that is unacceptable.
Projects.
That is unacceptable. You claim you have the men, but yet we are giving people idea. You cannot say that NDC do not read. Even when we read, we don't understand. When it comes to intellectuals, look, there has always been this
a party that doesn't believe in intellectuals. Their parliamentary candidate said it. There is bottom-up approach.
I'm sure
they don't believe in intellectuals.
When it comes to intellectuals, NPP cannot
let me make my point.
That.
Okay, we don't have much time left. We don't have much time left, so I want us to take final
comments. That is for industrialization. Please. Okay. So that is for industrialization,
okay.
right?
It was even my
we have greenfield projects and we have brownfield projects. You go to a place like Tema Industrial Area, there are already industries there. Some of them just need stimulus packages to up their game, to increase the number of staff and all that. That's what we are looking at.
Okay, so what you're saying that
sustainable solutions.
Okay, so the program is not about building factories, but
from scratch.
Sustainable partnerships for development.
Exactly.
Okay.
Places that government will go in. But
okay.
At the end of the day, who best manages industries? It's the private sector. Okay. So you push the private sector to be the engine of growth, and that is what the NDC
so that's what the program is about.
But in my closing remarks, I'll just say Ghanaians today, with what we've said and what is going on today, like the president has said, he's poised and focused to move this country to the next level. We should be done with the days where we say we started with Malaysia. Look at where they are. We can also do it.
I think
by industrializing.
So please, I need Dr. Fosu
and that is it.
Yes, please.
Yes, I must say that I want to register my displeasure by the words she's using. I want to put it on record that it's never true when MPP claim they have more intellectuals than NDC.
We didn't talk about intellectuals.
It's never true. You claim you have intellectuals. Here you are, virtually taking the ideas that NDC is bringing on board. When we talked about expanding the free SHS to cover the private sector, they came in like, it's not possible. Where are we getting the money? Just for you to turn or make a U-turn and say you are doing consultation. When we talk about Okada legalization, you said that no, that was not going to be possible just for you to make a U-turn. And you said that you are doing consultation to make sure you legalize Okada. If you claim you have intellectuals than NDC have, how come you are now more or less taking the ideas of NDC? You should be able to come up with your own policy, your own idea. When it comes to factory, a lot of them are just more or less 419, like we are saying. You build a dam that is not sustainable. You have wasted the taxpayers' money. You claim you have built factories that do not exist.
That's a party that doesn't believe in intellectual.
We need to wrap up.
We need to wrap up. There's no doubt.
You are right to say that. We need to wrap up. We need to wrap up. But thank you very much, Dr. Benedicta Yaira Fosu-Mensah, who is a lecturer at the University of Ghana, Legon, and she's a member of the NDC National Communications team. And of course, Laratu Musa Saka, member of the MPP Communications team, National Communications team for that matter. It's been a pleasure having you ladies, and I hope to see you again. Laratu for Laratu. We'll sip some tea after this. So viewers, we'll be right back with the Consumer Tech segment after these messages. This is Breakfast Daily on Citi TV.
There is nothing as hard as a diamond. For buildings with superior strength that withstand all weather conditions, Diamond Cement should be your preferred choice. Locate Diamond Cement nationwide with factories in Aflao, Takrady and Bupe. Diamond Cement, as hard as a diamond.
That planet,
The world is impossible without time. Time is endless motion. Make time work for you. Bet Planet. Time to bet.
A message from Zuri in Westlands. Now, she says, my mom remarried when I was 8 years. She was always busy, never had time for me. And so I was happy when my stepdad started showing me some love and affection. Things were great till I became a teenager. He started acting funny towards me, like touching my boobs and other things. And when I told my mom about it, she told me that he's my dad and there's nothing wrong with it. He eventually defiled me at the age of 14. When I told my mom, she convinced me not to tell anyone, so I kept it to myself. It has really had an impact on me, and I'm still scared of dating anyone. I want to forgive my mom and move on, but it hurts a lot anytime I remember. Please help me.
How can a mother even still stay married to a person that does that?
Even as a biological father, it is so wrong to have a father touch the breast of the daughter.
I'm going to use this platform, okay, to reach out to parents and let parents know that when your daughters are talking to you, pay attention.
Sisters, proudly brought to you by Vodafone Ghana. The future is exciting. Ready?
Now, the power is in your hands To vote for your favorite contestant, dial the short code *447*973# and follow the prompts to vote for your contestant. Remember, voting starts from Saturday 7 p.m. to Thursday 5 p.m.
Welcome back. You're still watching Breakfast Daily on Sabi, and now it's time to talk consumer tech. And as usual, as we do every Wednesday, I have Philip Kofi Ashong, who is the host of Citi Trends on 97.3 Citi FM, which airs every Tuesday at 7 p.m. And I'm so annoyed because he's shown up here in white, new white shoes, a white shirt, just to come and talk about the Apple event that happened yesterday. As soon as I said, oh no, he didn't even want to hear anything I had to say about things we should talk about today.
It's just because there's a lot to be excited about.
Look, some of us are not Apple fanatics, okay?
I can understand that.
So we're not excited.
And there's a completely legitimate reason for you not to be an Apple fanatic. It's just like we always do, like in this segment, we just talk about new innovations and how companies like Apple and Google and Samsung and everybody else are trying to push the boundaries. So for example, a couple of weeks ago, we spoke about, the Z Fold 2, which was the new device from Samsung, where they are trying to sort of introduce a new form factor with the phone. Typically we have, this rectangular looking device. Now we're going to have
that for years.
Now we're going to have the flip one. We have the Z Flip as well.
We're going back to the flip.
So there are new innovations, there are new changes happening almost every time. And so it's kind of exciting when we see a company like Apple sort of put together, an event that they did. And so I'm just going to run us through quickly the new things that were announced yesterday, and then we'll go into a bit of detail. So the very first one, there were a number of them, and we're just going to show viewers in a couple of seconds just what we're talking about in terms of it. So this was the event. When you go to the website, you're going to see it. And so the very first thing that they announced, yesterday's event was actually focused mainly on the Apple Watch and on the iPad, which was a bit disappointing for some people. But the first one that they released was the Apple Watch Series 6, obviously coming after the Series 5. The main difference between the Series 4 and the Series 5 was the fact that Series 5 had always on display. Now, the big thing about this is, it has a new chip which makes it, twice as fast or a weird number like that. It also has something interesting. Which is the blood oxygen level measurement.
I found that really interesting.
That's really, really interesting, especially for people who are into health monitoring and things like that. That was pretty incredible. Now, the other thing that they released also was the Apple Watch SE, which I call the cheaper version for people who can't afford the Apple Watch.
Why are you like that?
That's just the truth. It's like the iPhone SE. Like, it's just the cheaper version. It's just a cheaper version of the Apple Watch Series 6.
But it does a lot of the same things.
It does a lot of the same things. The screen is actually much bigger, which is interesting. And it does practically everything that you would find on an Apple Watch. It just has a different chip that's in it. But then,
does that make it slower?
It doesn't make it slower necessarily. It's just a cheaper version. So we have the Apple Watch SE, and then we had a number of things. So one of the things that they also talked about was the watch phases. So typically when you buy a smartwatch, you see, as you can see on the screen there, you have a number of watch phases there. You have the fitness one, you have the one for the phone calls and everything. And so that was mainly it. Now this little feature here, which is the Apple Fitness Plus, is a new service that Apple has introduced. Now, if you have an Apple Watch and you are into fitness, or if you have an Apple Watch period, you would know that, there are a lot of things that you can do with your watch. Monitoring how many times you stand up, your exercise, your movement, everything is integrated into the watch. What they've done is they've introduced a new service that expands your use of the Apple Watch and then the whole fitness platform, which can be connected to both your phone and then the Apple TV. But we'll come to that in just a bit.
Somebody in my life who would be excited about it.
I don't blame them at all.
I blame them.
Moving on, we talked about watch faces, and then came the iPad Air. Sorry. Personally, I've never really understood the positioning of the iPad Air, but then it's their company. All I do is just buy the products and use them. The iPad Air is interesting because a lot of the commentary, for example, from yesterday, from a lot of the critics and the tech space, was that it has almost the same features as the iPad Pro, which is relatively much more expensive. And so then begs the question, is this sort of like a dumbed down version of the iPad Pro? Because it does literally everything that the iPad Pro does, and it has the same shape as the iPad Pro. But it's a conversation and a debate for another day. So this was one of the key devices that were announced yesterday. Moving on, there was also the iPad 8th generation. Since last year, we've been playing around with the 7th generation for quite a bit. But this is the iPad 8th generation. As you can see there, they are basically touting how it's integrated into the iPad OS. Now, this is the new service that for me is the most exciting. This is Apple One. Apple One is basically a bundle of services that Apple has put together. As you can see there, you have Apple Music, you have Apple TV Plus, you have Apple Arcade, which is their gaming platform. You have Apple News Plus, which people don't really like, but yeah, it's still a service. Then, of course, you have your Fitness Plus, and then you have your iCloud storage space. So depending on the option that you go with, there's a family, there's a premier, and then there's an individual. Depending on the one that you go with, you are likely to end up with one or two of these or all of them. So the individual one has, I think, and we'll show you all the details and the pricing as well for those of you who want to find out.
That's very important.
So we'll be getting to that. But this is for me the most exciting one after the Apple Watch 6. So I mean, that's basically it. So now let's get into a bit of video. Let's take a bit of video from what some people basically have experienced the Apple Watch doing for them. Just to give a bit of perspective. So I mean, before we do that, so for those of you who are interested in the Apple One, the service. So as you can see, there's 6 services made available, different bundles. What you have is the Apple Music, the Apple TV Plus, the Apple Arcade. You would also have the other services, as we've talked about, the Apple Fitness Plus, Apple News Plus, and then iCloud storage space. Now, the most important thing, of course, for most people is what comes in the bundle. Because most people use a bit of these services. For me, for example, I use Apple Music, I use iCloud, and that's basically
Don't you use everything?
I don't use everything because I don't really need everything. So, I mean, for those who are interested, these are the bundles that, are available for people who want to basically check it out. So like I said, there's an individual bundle, there's a family bundle, and there's a premier bundle. Now, it's clear what Apple is trying to do. For about 2 or 3 years now, they've been pushing the agenda of them being a services company. So when you think about what Fitness Plus does, it's purely a service thing. When you think about Apple TV, purely a service thing. Now you're talking about bringing all these individual apps together into one bundle, which is now going to be sort of a service, which then is sort of looking at Apple as
a one-stop shop,
exactly. And then they are looking at bringing in more money through their service as well, because truthfully, the biggest money maker for Apple today is the iPhone. Now, what happens when other manufacturers overtake the iPhone? Then what happens? So Apple has to look at how to generate funds from, or generate revenue from different options. And the services market, the services market so far is the biggest one. So you have the individual, which is $14.95, literally $15 a month. And it has Apple Music, it has Apple TV, it has Arcade, and it has 50 gig of cloud storage space. Then you have the family. That is a lot. Then you have the family option, which is literally like $20 a month. Offers you Apple Music, Apple TV, Apple Arcade, and then 200 gig worth of storage space. Then you have the Premier, which is the ultimate, which is about $30 when you round it up, which literally gives you everything that 2 terabytes of space. It gives you Arcade.
You literally have the Premier of it all.
You have the Premier of everything, let's just say. So, I mean, depending on who you are and what you use the services for, you would know what to get. People have been complaining, for example, so does this mean that you can't pick individual service and pay for them? Currently, you can, but I envision that in about 2, 3, or 4 years, you would have to choose a bundle.
You have to bundle.
I am guessing that you have to choose a bundle. So let's get into the video. And we have a quick video to show you about how people have used the Apple Watch and how it has helped them. And then we're going to show you exactly how the Fitness Plus service is actually also going to work.
It has always been my dream to become a champion, but that can be hard with type 1 diabetes. It was just so many shots and finger pricks every single day. I went from having to check my blood sugar manually every 20 minutes to now all I have to do is just glance down at my wrist, which reads the insulin pack attached to my side. I feel like I don't have type 1 when I'm competing now.
U.S. high school record. That's unbelievable.
My name is YJ. Back in February of 2019, I was diagnosed with high blood pressure and hypertension. The medications cost me $2,000 a month with insurance. That was the tipping point for me. I started tracking my exercises and started tracking my health all through my watch. Almost 18 months later, I am not on any medications and I am in the best shape of my life.
My name is James. We were sitting in the living room and I glanced down at my watch because it kind of vibrated. It flashed increased heart rate. About time we got to the hospital, my heart rate was 206. And she said, "Sir, you're going into cardiac arrest." I'm 26. I wanted my life. And I didn't want my life just for me, but I wanted it for my family. I'm thankful to still be here, and I'm thankful for that device that saved me.
So, I mean, there you have it. That is how people are using the LEC. So, from someone falling to your watch, calling SOS directly. I mean...
Yeah, exactly.
With their new watch as well. They were very heavy on health management as a service as well. And it's very clear that Apple, you know, is also doing literally the same thing.
I mean, especially
in terms of selling,
in COVID
you know, that
times.
service.
I mean, we'll be living with this pandemic for a while. We don't know when it's going to die down.
Exactly.
So people are a little more skeptical about going to their healthcare providers. I mean, I've heard stories, I've read articles about cardiologists in the US who are not able to access their patients just because their patients won't come in and they're worried about their welfare.
It's very instructive that yesterday in the keynote address, Apple made it a point to put out the fact that I think in Singapore, they are actually going to integrate the Apple Watch into the health delivery system. So literally everybody will be encouraged to have an Apple Watch, because if you can be able to check your blood, you know, oxygen levels on your wrist, if you can be able to do your ECGs on your wrist, you have at least, it's sort of like an emergency service before you actually get to the hospital. And like the guy we saw in the video, for example, he was just at home, he saw a beep, and that literally saved his life. And you might not necessarily think it's such a big deal in Ghana, but considering the sort of, you know, things that people are dying of in our hospitals these days, very, you know, peculiar situations.
Just because something wasn't detected early enough.
Now you have a device. Most of these smartwatches have these devices that are able to detect some of these things on time, and it just goes to show that we might think it's a luxury, but it will get to a point it will become almost a necessity for you to have some of these things in place. And because the watch is just one thing, it comes with a whole system on the phone, so you have a bigger picture of what your health looks like. The guy, for example, who talked about how he had to take medicines just to keep safe, just to keep healthy. He started monitoring over a period, and now he doesn't take medicines anymore. And these things, people say that a life that is not measured really is pointless.
Exactly.
And if you're able to measure day by day how much work you're putting into your exercising, how your blood sugar levels or your blood oxygen levels are, it helps and gives you a good sense of where your health is directed. So for those of you who want to see what the watch looks like, we have a quick video for you. Check out this watch video that literally summarizes everything that you need to know about the Apple Watch. It's a pretty funny one as well.
Workout, trainer, time, music.
Imagine a future where one day machine learning will give you the power to track your sleep. Imagine.
Excuse me, ma'am?
Yes? Can I help you?
Yeah, this already does that.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Well, now you do.
Okay, let's try this again. It's all right, I'll start again. Imagine one day a tiny device with an optical sensor will send you an alert if your heart rate is too low. Yes? What? It already does that. What? Oh, okay. Well, how about we'll send you an alert if your heart rate is too high?
It already does that.
All right, let's try something new. We'll send you an alert if you're someplace that's too loud.
I just received one of those alerts.
Really? Well, you should probably find a quieter place, sir.
You should probably mind your own business.
Ugh. Okay, imagine one day in the future.
Hold on.
No. Let me finish.
1 second.
You'll be able to take an ECG.
It already does that.
It already does that.
I heard that.
Good. What about continuously track your elevation? Does it do that?
Does that.
Right, got it.
Does that.
Thank you.
Does that.
Yep, heard it the first time. Encourages you to stay fit.
Does that.
Okay, I get it. You're fit. I don't know, will it automatically call 911 if a bear chases you off a cliff and you take a hard fall?
Yeah, already does that.
Seriously?
Yeah, seriously.
You gotta be kidding me. Okay. I got it. Let's go from the top. Imagine a day, a future. Imagine a future. One day, tiny device, blah, 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 that uses red and infrared light to measure your blood oxygen level. Yes? What? No. Don't you dare say it. I'm sorry, I can't hear you. Very cute. Well, that was fun.
And so, I mean, there you have it.
You know how we used to talk about this and this and this is the future, this is the present.
This is the
it's
present.
So amazing.
This is something that you're seeing today. And
but Phil,
for me,
I'm worried about Ghana because
why?
you know a lot of people still can't even afford an iPhone.
Right.
You know, so I know now Apple has an Africa office. Are we going to be talking about of sorts? Are we going to be talking about discounts, partnerships with our telcos so that's more accessible?
The thing is, I don't think we've gotten to that level yet, especially in Ghana. I don't think. I mean, in South Africa, you have a proper Apple shop.
Right.
In some parts of Africa, you have a proper Apple shop.
Here it's still accessories.
It is still accessories. We don't have an official Apple shop in Ghana. Let's not kid ourselves about that. The thing though is, you really need to look and assess your life to see whether these devices actually fit into your life. Sometimes I think people just are excited about the look and feel of the device.
The prestige of it all.
Just having an Apple device. It's never really about that. It's about how it fits into your life. For example, why buy an iPad Pro when you can literally just use a phone? What is the point of an iPad Pro in your life? You are not going to use 60 or 70 or 80% of what is available on that iPad Pro. And so sometimes you really need to assess your life, figure out how a device fits into your life before you acquire it.
And that includes costs.
That includes costs as well. Sometimes it's good to just sacrifice. For example, why buy an iPhone 11 Pro? Really, why? It's probably because you're doing a lot more in terms of computing, in terms of video work, in terms of photos. So you really need to do an assessment of your needs and see which device fits into it. So we are seeing the Apple and the iPad here. Now, there were a number of them, available in different colors.
This is the iPad
but
Air.
Two main, yeah.
No?
So this is the iPad Air.
Okay.
Now they also released the iPad 8th generation. Now the reason why I'm still confused about why they would release those two iPads is the iPad Air, yes, might be smaller than the iPad Pro, but then it kind of does everything that the iPad Pro does. So then you wonder.
But maybe it's just about the size then.
Which is fine.
Because usually when they use the word Air, it has to do with size,
it does.
portability.
So then why do you release the iPad 8th generation, which also works with the pencil, the Apple Pencil, which can work with the new stand? Why'd you do that? But hey, it's not my company. Well, it is them, and they released it. So I mean, there you have it. That's
I'm sure they've done their
Air.
feasibility studies.
I'm guessing so, and it kind of makes sense to them. So that's the iPad Air. There was the iPad 8th generation as well, and that was released yesterday for those who can check it out. So you can just go to apple.com, check out all the devices and all the services available. Which one works for you, just stick with it. But I'm just saying, you have to do an assessment, figure out which device works best for you, figure out how it fits into your life before you make a purchasing decision.
And of course, when you go to the website, there are always FAQs, frequently asked questions that can answer the questions for you.
You have to also be you have to also understand you're working within a Ghana.
Or you can text or email or tweet at Phil.
And then we can get you some answers. Remember, you're working in Ghana as well, so it's not everything that would necessarily be available. But it was a great event.
Great. Thank you, Philip Kofi Ashon, host of Citi Trends on 97.3 Citi FM. Airs every Tuesday at 7 p.m. He's also head of production, TV production here at Citi TV. And do stay tuned. Our entertainment highlights are up next.
Welcome to Entertainment Highlights on Breakfast Daily. My name is Atukwamina. Multiple award-winning Ghanaian actress Nadia Buhari has advised people in relationships to walk out if they have to prove their worth. According to the Beyoncé star actress, it's unhealthy for one to try hard to prove their worth to partners in relationships. It's unclear what triggered her statement. However, the mother of four is known for offering frequent marriage and relationship counseling for her followers on social media. She said the moment one has to prove their worth to someone is the right moment they have to walk out of the relationship. She shared a new selfie with the caption, "The moment you feel like you have to prove your worth to someone is the moment to absolutely and utterly walk away." In June 2019, Nadia Buhari disclosed the reason she married secretly and had 4 kids, saying it was a personal decision and she feels her children are too young and innocent to be exposed to the media. British actor Idris Elba has refuted claims that he and his wife Sabrina Dowry welcomed their first child. Idris debunked the news reports on his Twitter page on Monday, September 14, 2020. Sab and I thank you all for the congratulations, but we haven't had a baby. That's not true. Don't believe everything you read. Stay safe. Black Heart, he tweeted. Elba got engaged to the Somalian-Canadian Sabrina Dowry in February 2018 during a screening of his film Yardi at the East London Cinema. They later tied the knot in 2019. Nigerian music superstar David Adeleke, popularly known as Davido, is set to appear in the forthcoming comedy classic Coming to America 2. He has been officially listed among the cast of the movie, which is set to be released later this year. The second part of the hit movie is set to hit the cinemas once again with high expectations and suspense in movie lovers. The Hollywood movie, which has continued to make waves since the 1980s, stars Eddie Murphy, Arsenio Hall, James L. Jones, and Paul Bates as its main cast. Other new faces expected to be in the movie include, alongside Davido, are Jermaine Fowler, Wesley Snipes, Tracy Morgan, Leslie Jones, Rick Ross, Michael Blackson, amongst others. This is a big win for DMW boss and the whole of Nigeria. And that's all for entertainment highlights on Breakfast Daily. My name is Atukwam.
Hello, my name is Samuel Ofori, a film actor and a film director. Because of the nature of my job, the taste for quality things is endless. Quality phones, quality laptops, quality TV sets. Let me show you my secret. Here is Franco Trading Enterprise. My secret for quality laptops, quality phones, quality TV sets, accessories, come on, external hard drive, pen drive, name it. For bulk purchase and retails, come to Franco Trading Enterprise. They'll reduce the price for you. Franco Trading Enterprise. Home quality phone.
Telling Ghana's business stories. Citi TV brings you a dedicated business news bulletin that showcases the business temperature of the country in one go. The business dashboard, the markets, industry, and policies that affect the way we do business. All covered in one bulletin. The business dashboard, 7 p.m. every weeknight on Citi TV.
All right, welcome back, and it's time for Hello, Mr. President. Now, as you're well aware, the BEC students are writing their exams, and it was a very challenging time for our young brothers and sisters, and many of them are going through different experiences. And we have a case where in Chamba happens to sit on the road between Bimbilla and Salaga in the northern region. Now, there's an NGO that works with some kids. They refer to them as youth at risk youth, you know, and they've been doing this work, I mean, in Accra, and then also they have operations outside in different places in the country. And one of their students, the at-risk youth that they were working with in Chamba, when it was time for BECE, they decided to send the children to school, to go write their exams, right? They don't, unfortunately, Chamba doesn't have a center for them to write the exam, so they have to travel to Bimbilla to go and write the exam, the BECE examination. So they took their 7 or so children off to the station to see their kids off and say goodbye to them and wish them well for their exams. Now, when they went there, they saw some things that were very upsetting. And so they decided to send us some video here on Hello, Mr. President. Let's take a look.
I'm called Latif Nsudo John. Who? Talk Latif Nsudo John. Okay. John, how are you going to Bimbilla? We're taxed to pay some money for the car. Okay. Send us to Bimbilla. But unfortunately, some of us couldn't get the money. Okay. And then some politicians have made it known that they pay for us. Okay. But unfortunately, on our part, 2 days ago, they said they cannot pay the money. Oh. So we don't know how. Although some are paid, but some of us couldn't get to pay. Oh. So now you couldn't get to pay. What are you going to do? We just manage. You manage? How are you going to pay the car? Because it's not free. So how are you going to pay? When you come back, what are you going to do to pay the money? Nowadays, we children, we don't have anything. So we are pleading on. We are pleading that anybody that will have mercy on us.
All right, so here's a gentleman who was on his way to write his BECE from Chamba to Bimbilla. And I have the co-CEO of the foundation, the NGO that did this story for us and brought this to our attention. We're going to speak with her and ask her exactly what were the problems that she saw on the ground. Good morning, Lucy.
Good morning.
How are you? I'm very well, thank you, and welcome to Breakfast Daily. Now,
thank you.
Yes, Lucy, what are the challenges you saw and what made you feel like it was necessary to bring this to our attention?
Well, as a parent, when these children were going to ride the BECE, we wanted to make a follow-up and see them off from Chamba Station to the Bimbila. And exactly when we got there, we realized that the bus that the government has promised to pay for their transportation, they did not do it. So the children were there with no transportation fare in the first place. So in fact, it was like a red flag. So I decided to follow them at Bimbila when they get there. So our team members were there. And then when we got there, we realized there were about 300 children right the BEC in 5 days. They were going to be hosted in 5 days with bad conditions, very horrific problems. They were packed in the makeshift dorms, 50 in a room, no social distancing, no face masks. They went with no food. Those who went with food had coal pots. Imagine that they have to light this coal pot, feed themselves before they can study. The problem I also found was that there was no electricity at all. There was no electricity in the rooms.
Wow.
Some of the dorms have no windows. In fact, I just can't describe how the whole thing was. And the horrible thing was there was only 2 bathrooms, 2 toilets for these 300 children. The government was going to feed them only once a day. So we are feeding them every day. We travel 2 hours from Chamba to Bimbila to feed them every day. And I think this is unfair to the children because they cannot compete with the other children in Accra. We are expecting them to do very well. And if they go through things like that, I wonder what they're going to be. I did a lot of research and I found that they don't do well with this. And because of that, they are cut off, they don't go to school anymore, go to Accra, continue with Kayayu. So it's like their future they don't have future. In fact, I'm so much sad about these conditions. There was no water. The children will walk 3 miles to another place to fetch water. They will walk 3 miles to a village where the center is to write the exam. And after cooking, after 6 o'clock, that's when they want to walk and go to their place to study. They walk through the bush with no light. They come back and then sleep in a dorm that there's no light. They don't have bed. They don't have tables to study. They sleep on the floor and study. So you can imagine how long they can study before they go to sleep. And then the next morning, they don't know where food is coming from before they write the exam. This is very sad situation. Very, very sad.
So let me just clarify this. You said you've been helping to support them by sending food every day to the
every day. Yeah, we cook food from Chamba and then carry it on a motorcade or motor bicycles for 2 hours on the bad road, putting those people living at risk every day to go and feed children because they're fed once a day from the government.
Okay, Lucy, let me find out. Your NGO was looking after how many children?
We were looking at 100 children, but 8 of them were going to write the
BEC. Okay.
We wanted to take them off, and then this is when we found the problem.
Okay.
And since we are there to rescue the youth at risk and make sure we advocate for them, we wanted to take this matter up so that next year they can write their exam in their own city or town because it's not necessary for them to travel so far to go and write the exam under this horrible condition.
Yeah. So this food provision intervention that you're providing for them, are you sending food for your 8 kids, or are you opening it up a bit more to include other children as well?
To more people.
I see.
All of them, yeah.
Wow.
Almost all of them, because many people had no food. They only have yams and Kobe, and I don't know what they can be fed on with these yams and Kobe. Nothing. A child of 10 years, between 10 years and 14, I don't know what we expect them to do under this condition. It's very, very sad.
Now, so the conditions you mentioned there about the lavatory situation, is it a school that has these toilet facilities, or is it
Yes.
what is it? What is that place actually?
Yes, in fact, these makeshift dorms are schools that
Okay.
I think GSS, but then for the examination purposes, they want to host these children there for 5 days.
I
But then
see.
the condition is very bad.
Okay.
They don't have windows, they don't have light. They sleep on the floor on mats and then try to study before the next day they write exam. And I cannot compare these children with Christ the King or Morning Star children in Accra.
Yeah, well, it's very unfortunate, and thank you very much for bringing this to our attention. We have tried to reach the Director of Education at the GS Northern region, but there has been no response from them. We will keep pushing the matter, and hopefully government will get on top of this, and this will not repeat itself next year. Thank you very much, Lucy, for doing this.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much for speaking to us. All right, so you heard it there. That was Lucy Saki. She is the co-CEO of the K.A. Emisa Foundation. And basically, they were just out there looking out for the kids that they had rescued, as it were, 8 of them. And basically decided that, look, let's go and say bye-bye to them and see them off to the station. And when they got there, lo and behold, they just saw this. That raised a lot of questions, and then only to follow up and find out that there's all of this that's going on that shouldn't be going on. And the GES Northern region has not responded to our calls. So I hope somebody is watching who can take a decision and make things happen. We're here. We're waiting for you to get in touch with us. All right, there's another incident on the Ashakai Window Road. There's a report that came in, a video from one of our viewers, and condition of the road is nothing to write home about. Let's take a look at Eugene Achampon's report.
My name is Eugene Achampon. I live in Asake Window Road. I speak from Takrady. Mr. President, as you can see a vehicle going, we have a very strong problem here. We have a problem with our roads, and we find difficulties even using our cars on that road. It's spoiling lots of cars here, and when it rains, it's even worse. Please, you promised that there have been some roads that have been constructed. Here you go. We have difficulties using these routes, and we beg you, please find a solution to this problem. Thank you.
All right, so you've seen the road there. It's amazing how our duty bearers just don't seem to want to respond and to care for their neighborhoods. And this is in our the second or third biggest city in the country. And so I don't understand what's going on. We did try to reach out to the MCE. He declined to comment, gave us some reasons, but we hope that he's seeing this report, and his bosses are also seeing this report. MCE, we're waiting for you to come back to us and explain what it is. What's your defense for what's happening there in Ashakai Window Road? All right, let's go to the Nanton Balshe. We have a report from there too. Let's take a look at that, and then we'll continue the conversation.
We are facing challenge concerning our route, and we are appealing for government to come and help us in order to make the road good for us. Whenever a woman is in labor, we are finding it difficult to send her to a hospital due to the nature of the road. Also, students are also finding it difficult to get to the school just because of the nature. During the rainy season, car cannot move from town to that place. So because of that, whenever we have a sick person in that place, we are finding it difficult to send that person to hospital. So we are appealing for government to come and fix our route for us so that everything will be good, and also we can be able to pass through in order to get to where we are in need.
All right, so that was Osman Yusuf, and we have him on the line actually, but we'll talk to him in just a bit. We did try to reach out to the MCE. He's currently having consultations, he says, with the Highways Authority, but he will respond to us next week. So we're hoping to hear from him, Honorable Rahman. Osman Yusuf, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good.
Okay, so try to let us know a little bit more what's actually happening since you sent this video to us. Has anything changed? Is anything happening there? Can let us know what's going on.
Okay. In fact, we are facing a serious challenge concerning our route. Balshe is divided into two. We have old Balshe and then new Balshe. But we are using one school.
Okay.
So all the students in New Balshe are going to the old Balshe because school is located. And during the students are finding it difficult to go to school because the road will be flooded. And sometimes the teachers also absent themselves from school because of the route. And even when it rains, it will be flooded and the water is even running straight to the school. In fact, that one is even collapse the school building. So the road needs a small bridge.
Yeah. Okay.
Going feet. The westerness is in labor. In fact, that is where the problem is. How to send her to hospital?
Yeah. So Osman,
Mr. President,
yes,
to come to our aid by giving us a good route so that the students, the teachers, as well as the pregnant women, as I said earlier, can have access to the route.
So Osman, you know the MCE is the representative of the president, right? Have you had any interactions with the MCE of your area at all?
No, I don't have his contact. I'm yet to do that because I want to get his contact so that we can talk and see how this problem can be solved.
What's the nearest regional coordinating council to you?
The coordinating council?
Yeah, what's the nearest one to where you are?
Nantong.
Nantong. Yeah, so maybe you should try going to the coordinating council office and see if you can reach out. Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much for speaking to us, Yusuf. Osman Yusuf, thank you very much. We appreciate that. All right, so that was Osman Yusuf. He's a resident of Nantong Balshe. And as he said there, when it rains, the road gets flooded. Not only that, it cuts off them, as a community from other communities. This is a road that is used to access schools because everybody who lives in the area has to travel to go to school. So it's just as in the case of the earlier report that we had, the Chamba kids, it's important for us to make the competitive playing ground, fair and even. In terms of education. So I think it's good that we have free education and giving access, but if you give access and in terms of you can now go to school, but then the road is the reason why they can't go, we are back to square one. So we need to fix all the things. We can't just fix a part of it and leave the rest. Okay, so we want you to keep your reports coming in wherever you find yourself. Thank you very much to Lucy Saki and her team. Thank you also to Osman Yusuf, to Eugenia Champon for sending in those videos. We appreciate it. Anybody that's watching us, wherever you find yourself, whatever part of the country you find yourself in, please send us a 60-second videos, short videos. Let's see what's going on in your community. Also send us an email if you can, at hello Mr. President TV @gmail.com. We will air the issue and duty bearers and policymakers to make sure they do the right thing, and all of us in Ghana should be treated fairly. And so that in the case of education, as we've been talking about this morning, even though it's a road issue, you can see how it would disadvantage kids who are also, getting educated. In the first case, it's a children going to BCE, but look at all the struggles that they're going through. The kids in Accra are not going through those challenges, and then this case in Nanton Balshe too, the same. And then of course, Asakai Window Road. We'll be back after these messages. Don't go anywhere.
That's kind of cynical. I mean, because I'm not sure that all that we have done have necessarily been to the benefit of middle class or wealthy people. So we will get to that.
Tune in to The Point of View this and every Monday and Wednesday at 9 p.m. as I, Bernard Avile, get the right guests, ask them relevant questions on issues that matter to you.
When MDB came, because they were not putting money in the sinking fund.
They were not putting money in the sinking fund.
Yes.
That's why this curve is going up.
The money was going to the sinking fund, but it was not being applied to debt.
I think that there's a lot of apocryphal conspiracy theories around. And it's not different from 5G causes COVID-19 and things like that. So there's been this long-term held belief that somehow there are some people that have planned that they will bust hundreds of thousands of people to come and change Ghanaian electoral outcome. There is no evidence for it. There is absolutely no evidence for it.
I am saying that we have very professional herbalists in this country whose capacity I know because I've tried it. But also there are quack ones within them. And the earlier we weed them out, the better for us.
Remember, The Point of View is live every Monday and Wednesday at 9 p.m. only on Citi TV.
The Point of View is powered by Airtel Tigo. Have you heard that Airtel Tigo calls from 5 a.m. to 10 a.m. and Airtel Tigo money transfers are now free on new SIMs? Now you know. Airtel Tigo. Life is simple. And Lydia Contraceptive. With Lydia, you truly decide.
So our morning together is almost over. It's been a brilliant one, hasn't it?
Yes, it has.
From beginning to end, it's been brilliant.
I am looking for an Apple Watch.
My friend,
I am looking for an Apple Watch.
So you, okay, let me not expose this middle-aged man here. I won't expose him.
No, say what you want to say.
Are you sure you want me to expose him?
Say what you want to say.
He promised to buy me an iPhone for my birthday. It hasn't come. He promised to buy me an Apple Watch for Christmas last year. It hasn't come. Now I know COVID will be there soon. He told me he's going to buy an Apple Watch.
Now you please come and save me.
I didn't ask.
All right, guys. So please ignore her. Keyboard idol, please. You got to vote. It's very important. So tomorrow by 5 p.m. the voting closes for the week. All right. So make sure that you send your votes in. Vote as many times as you can. *447 *973 hash is the number to vote. And just keep voting, okay? Don't say somebody else will vote. I voted once or twice. It's okay. Let others vote. No. How important is your contestant to you in the comment.
Very important. And of course, we did mention Voters Diary earlier. We're mentioning it again. 1 p.m. Tune in to 97.3 Citi FM with Abna Nyameche Ampedu. She'll be taking you through the Voters Diary. And then at 3 p.m. on Citi TV, right here with Vivian Kai Loco. Very important, very engaging, very interesting, interactive, and informative. Tune in. Don't miss it.
Absolutely. And if you missed any of the segments of our show,